I am so excited for this next conversation. The 2024 Summer Olympics, they're about 2 weeks away, and some of my colleagues at KSL News are currently packing their bags for Paris, France. Tamara Vaifanua, Alex Cabrero, and Sam Farnsworth will headline KSL's coverage. They'll be at the center of it all, delivering the Olympic highlights straight to your living room to ensure you are bringing home the gold as well. We have invited our KSL Olympic team into our studio to talk all things Olympics. Everybody, my cool friends are here, so sit up straight and act alive. I'm so glad to have you guys.
Thanks for having us.
Oh my gosh, is the vibe high?
Oh my gosh.
Pretty high.
It's getting real.
I can't wait. It's been so much planning for the past 8 months to a year since we found out that it's like, okay, we're getting there. It's finally going to happen. Yes.
Alex, how many is this for you? How many Olympics?
This will be number 8. So I'm very fortunate. I think I just like the torture of it all, not getting any sleep, but not to scare you both.
They're very excited now, Sam and Tamara, our newbies.
But it's an honor to go. It's so much fun to cover our Utah athletes over there.
Well, the sleep deprivation is one thing, time zone considered, but give us just a small glimpse, Alex, in the day of a life of an Olympic journalist. It's hard work.
It is hard work. The hardest part is the sleep deprivation, and that's really something that you just get used to being in a fog, honestly.
Blurry.
Because you have to work in their time zone as things are happening, but then we have to be live in the mountain time zone.
Yeah.
And so that's an 8-hour difference for France. And for me doing our 5 and 6 o'clock newscasts here in Salt Lake, that means 1 a.m. and 2 a.m. over there. Find sleep for a few hours and then get up around 7, 8 to start covering stuff over there.
So long days, AKA early mornings. It all kind of is just a blur.
It's a fog.
It's a fog. Tamara, are there any Utah connections for the 2024 Olympic Games that you're excited to bring home?
I've actually just highlighted a local gal that attended Harriman High. She's going to be playing for Team USA Women's Sevens Rugby. Her name is Spiff Sider, and she is amazing. Spiff, she actually got the name from, she started in gymnastics and
quite a name, yeah.
And so a gymnastics coach gave her the name Spiff because it's like, oh, she's spiffy.
She's
right?
spiffy.
So she made a great pivot into rugby. She's just flourishing. She's 26 now, so she got involved in the game at age 16. So she's told me that it's never too late to start rugby. That's the type of game it is where they're very inclusive. It doesn't matter, you know, the body types, you know, they welcome all types of people into the field. So we're going to be cheering her on.
Go Spiff.
High, go Spiff.
Go Spiff. And that's what's fun about having you three there for all of us, because the USA pride runs thick. We see that everywhere. But you bring home a component of the Utah pride with our Utah athletes. Sam, any other Utah athletes that you have your eye on?
Yeah, and maybe this will branch out our USA pride to Canada a little bit. I don't know. We've got there's 3 former University of Utah basketball players playing for the women's. They call it 3x3. It's a newer event in the Olympics. Started in Tokyo. 3-on-3 basketball.
Okay.
They say from the streets to the Olympics is kind of how they compare it. If anyone's played in those 3-on-3 tournaments before, but There's Michelle Plouffe. She played she was an All-American in about 2014. Paige Crozone was one of her teammates at the University of Utah. And then Kim Smith-Gosher, one of the all-time greats at the University of Utah, whose number is retired at the Huntsman Center. She's the head coach of this 3-on-3 team. And so they all said, I had the chance to speak to them already, and they all said, you know, hopefully our Ute fans out there will wear red when we're playing the United States and cheer for Canada for one game. We'll see if that happens.
Hopefully the competitive walls come down just a little for our University of Utah friends.
But we have those connections all over the Olympics.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Alex, it seems from what I gather from you that every Olympic game sort of has its own vibe or its own feel. What are you anticipating or what's new about Paris?
I think what's going to be great about Paris is it's going to be a return to normal. After the Beijing Olympics, after the Tokyo Olympics with COVID and no fans.
What was that like?
Beijing was like jail for a month. You know, we couldn't go anywhere. Tokyo was okay, but we had to quarantine the first 15 days where we could only leave our hotel room for 15 minutes at a time, and we had to be back testing every day. But after 15 days, you got your little certificate, and then you could go on mass transit and actually see some sights and such. Beijing it's a life experience. We all like life experiences, I'll say that. Very different from Beijing in 08, which was a huge party. But I think Paris will be a return to normal. COVID is over, no masks, fans, the opening ceremony down the Seine River, which has never been done at an Olympics. I think this is going to be a huge celebration for humanity, for sport, and just Normalcy.
Normalcy. Cheers
Yes.
to that.
Thank goodness.
Cheers to that. We talked about Alex being the team veteran. Tamara, this is your first Olympics to cover.
It's my first time.
Where's your
covering the
head at?
Olympics.
What are
Oh my
you doing?
gosh.
What are you preparing
Oh
for?
my goodness. And apparently I'm like one of 400 of the first timers. So no, I really feel like it's an honor and a privilege to cover these amazing athletes. And so as a fan, you know, this is a huge honor. But what I'm thinking is just like, because I hear so many things about what the workload's going to be like. And, you know, I've never been to Paris. And so getting a lay of the land and just, you know, I really do want to take in the moment because I know it's going to be, you know, crazy in a good way, working hard, you know, not getting a whole lot of sleep, that sleep deprivation, but gotta try to take it in.
I saw you crowdsourcing through social media, some advice or tips and tricks about the Paris scene. Any viewer advice that's come in that you're cataloging or taking to heart?
And I've been hearing this a lot. You guys probably have too, but pickpocketers, just be really careful, you know, with your purse, your bags, keep them closed. Pickpocketers. Someone told me to eat my weight in croissants.
Yes.
Over there, so I'm going to be in trouble.
To that I say yes. Yes, yes. Sam, can you give us a little insight? I mean, we love to follow the sports and the competition of it. Then there's the personal stories. Alex mentioned the celebration of humanity. And you also provide us a little bit insight into like the head game of these athletes, like what they're thinking and how they're mentally preparing. What have you learned about that, or what are you excited to learn more about?
Well, one thing I do like, you talk about the competitiveness of these guys, right? They're putting on a different uniform. And I think of team sports a lot, right? I cover a lot of pro sports and team sports. Suddenly they're putting away their professional jersey and putting on their country's uniform. And there's a different level of pride for this, especially for some of our international athletes who've played in the NBA or for RSL. They put on that country jersey and there's suddenly that level of pride that just goes to another level that we haven't seen them like that before. So it's just a unique new opportunity for us as journalists even to see these athletes coming from a different, you know, background, I guess you could say, where they are playing for their country. They're playing for pride. They're playing for things, you know, it's not for money. It's not for a big trophy. You know, you are going for that gold, but really it's all about representing their country. And I love seeing that kind of come out of these athletes where we normally don't see that.
It's what makes it so fun, right? Is the unity that comes out that we all have a bit into or a share of. And you guys will help us have that front row seat. So no pressure, we're watching. You're our players, right? Putting on the KSL jersey. Thank you so much.
Bring the gold to KSL.
Bring the gold. Oh, get a bumper sticker. Award goes to Alex.